exception happen, so I do not convert that enable brand to the tool list. So after that it's working perfectly, so like that. This is the brands and this is the models. So now how we can use SPs in here? So it is very pretty easy. We write some SP to insert new models. It is inside brand, so BMS. I write new SP to insert a new model. And there are three parameters, I suppose. First one is brand ID, model ID. It is not necessary, it is identical. Must be a name, must be a version, and the model brand ID must be int. So I insert new model, okay. Name and brand ID. So I created, execute this one. So okay, so you can see that when we refresh, after refreshing, that SP is in here. So I write sample code using Dapper to invoke this SP. This SP has only input parameter, not output parameter. Public void create model using SP. I pass model entity, using connection factory connection. We use transaction also, trans equal con dot begin transaction. Okay, so what I supposed to do is I must write a con dot execute the SP name. Here what are the parameters I want to insert? Name, the name same as same, spellings must be same. And the brand ID. So there is a necessary parameter. By default it is text, that command type, but now command type must be a stored procedure. By default it is a text. That's why we didn't pass in to that one. This because this is SQL type, command type text. And transaction, if you want transaction, that's it. So I will execute from our tester query. After the button click, that SP must be invoked and insert the value. brand ID 1, and the name must be ABC, like that. Okay. So I suppose it is inserted because there is no message showing. Mm. Mm. Why is that? Must be insert. Sorry, I must commit the transaction. So this is query working in transaction. If it is not upset, I must commit to transaction to reflect to our database, else I must roll back it. Okay, you can see ABC is reflected here, right? So if it is has a out parameter like this, after the inserted new brand, new model, you must out the model ID, that is identity column. We can get identity column by using scope identity. Okay, so we order table. Right, now this has out parameter. So how we can do like this code type? So I reflect here this previous one, and I override that method to using out parameter, right? So if it has out parameter, I rename it like this, and previous code I keep it in original way. Okay, so this is SP name. So how we use out parameters? So is uh, directly it's measure in here. So you can use these codings. So dynamic parameter is that the parameter list we can insert the dynamic parameter inserted to this code. So it's measure the what is parameter type. It can be a return parameter. Return parameter means you can return some value in here. Can be a out parameter as well. It can be an input parameter. So there is two input parameter as well as one output parameter as well as one return one. 11 must be a return one. So first parameter we include name as well as brand ID. Must be a return, must be a input parameter. By default the direction must be an input, or otherwise we can override this one as like this. Name must be a item dot name, and brand must be a, we know to measure the what kind of data type we will pass, term dot brand ID. So this is not necessary. So but for output parameter we must want to measure, tell what kind of parameter we will insert. So output parameter name, that is model ID, and return value we can use any name. We return 11 here. Okay. Right, so we remove that one and pass our dynamic parameter list. So after execution what they're supposed to do is we can get the parameters. So we want to our model ID as well as what is our return one. So we set these parameters to here. Both are integer. So if it is a string or boolean we must change that one. Okay, now I go to our tester and add new button. I change the name and out parameter. So this method is overloaded. So I call overloaded method. First of all I initial that out parameters, and out one is ID as well as return one. So we will show it inside a message box. Okay. So we keep a breakpoint here. Oops. only, not implement. Why is that? We show it in here. Name, brand ID, model ID. Name, brand ID. Sorry, there is a simple spelling mistake. Okay, we will run again. So that 8 must be a return, that is scope identity, and 11, that is the return parameter. This is return parameter and this is the out parameter. Right. So finally I will teach you how to create a different transaction with in different methods. So what I supposed to do is, so suppose so this is one method called as A. This one method is called as B. This is a main method we call as C. So not C, M. So when the call here to insert, so when CRUD queries, so this method M method call A to update someone, suppose update a table, and also again call to B to update B table. So if someone is failed, so if A query fail, B must be a fail, B must be a rollback. So B query fail, A query must be a, if it is a success, it also must be a rollback. So how we handle transaction in multiple methods? So in this case we do the transaction in same method. So how we trigger transaction in multiple methods? So it is pretty easy. So I will write some code. Suppose public void create insert model brands and models. So to this method they pass model and any brand. So model, so insert model query executed by in this method. Insert brand query do by this method. Okay. So those are private. So when interface call this method, brands and model must be inserted. But even if one query is failed, all the queries are failed. So these two methods, these two queries must be executed as a one transaction scope. How do we achieve this kind of situation? So first of all, we must want to, as usual, we must import the connection. And secondly, as usual, we create a new transaction and bind to that connection. Okay, so now we must want to pass the object in here, and object in here. So in here we can handle the query. So is it correct? No. We must want these two methods, two queries must be run inside one transaction. So we must want to pass connection object as well as transaction object. So this is the parent interfaces. So when we pass the models, so you must want to pass the transaction and the connection. Right. So IDB connection. So inside that we can execute our whatever the query. So insert into model this query. Like this, and it must be with that transaction, right? As well as we can trigger out this query also. Insert into brands name, like this. When we execute this transaction, this SQL, you must want to use this transaction. If somehow this SQL has some exception, it can be throw here, and we can roll back the transaction. That means all these queries executions are rolled back. If it is not trouble, we can commit it. So now you can use in our interface. I rename another button. Bit long text, new brand service dot what is the name here? Insert brand and models, and you can put here new model as well as new brand. I use garbage values here. Okay, I wrap even exception, and if has exception, I show inside the message box. Right. Okay, this has a relationship between this brand and model. This brand ID is foreign with model ID. Must declare brand ID. What's that happen? This one. So this is pretty easy. So Dapper is very fast. That's a spelling mistake, the syntax check. So I conclude this session that Dapper is very fast ORM system, more than our entity framework, but less than pure SQL client. So but Dapper is ORM, so we can object relation mapping our traditional database map to our entities, so it is very easy to maintain. We can write pure SQL, have OSPs with any kind of achieve any kind of database transaction. So there is another ORM system, that one is the Petapogo. Petapogo also same as a Dapper. So I coordinate another session to ex to explain the Petapogo. So thank you very much and have a good day.